Wow, quite a lot happened, and we have what seems to be the makings of what everything is going to be, or at least the filling out of the Wrestle Kingdom card after these shows as well. So overall, I thought the end of the Super Juniors and the World Tag League was actually really good. Plus, we had some really good undercard matches that kind of played into where they're going to be going, especially for Wrestle Kingdom. We had a few matches come out of the undercard. And then over there on the Super J Cup, we had all types of stuff that came out over there and laying out the challenge that who are going to see probably the first night of Wrestle Kingdom for the junior heavyweight division. See if the winner of the Super Junior Best of the Super Juniors puts up their title match against the winner of the Super J Cup. It sounds like that's what's going to happen. The winner of that match is going to be.
That match has been announced for night one, and the winner is facing Taiji Ishimori for the junior heavyweight title on night two.
Well, there you go. So overall, I thought these the last night was really good, and of course the Super J Cup I thought was quite good as well.
Yeah, man, it was a fun undercard. The tag league finals were a great match, and holy shit, the best of the Super Junior final is, I think, going to go down as one of the epic matches in the history of New Japan. Just from a for someone like I've been a New Japan fan for so long, and I love story heavy matches, and this was a great match anyway. But just the all of the context that went into it just made it so much more amazing.
Yeah, and I think everything that we had talked about as well when it comes to the player, that being El Desperado, going into 2021, this just kind of solidified what I thought was going to be his role going into 2021, and it looks like he is going to be a massive player next year.
Yeah, man, I would. How could he not after that performance? After the performance of this whole tournament, but especially the performance in the final.
Yeah, the entire tournament was very, very good. So, or his performance specifically. So, let's get into it here, and we are going to be talking night 17, which is the finals of the World Tag League and the Best of the Super Juniors. We start off the evening with Taiji Ishimori, Bad Luck Fale, and Chase Owens against Toru Yano, Sho, and Robbie Eagles. We had, or at least I had, speculated we should see Sho and Robbie Eagles team up as a team, and here we go. We already get it on the first night post Best of the Super Juniors that they are at least tagging together. So with Toru Yano as well. So it'd be interesting to see how it comes out. The Bullet Club attacked before the bell, and Yano and Fale pair off in the ring. Yano keeps trying to pick up Fale, but no luck there. Yano, of course, removes the turnbuckle pad, and then Sho and Ishimori both get tagged in. They have a nice back and forth sequence. Then Eagles and Chase get tagged in, and Eagles hits a ton of offense with strikes and a drop kick to the knee, then some yes kicks, then a running kick, double knees in the corner, a 619, and then another double knees for a 2 count. We have Eagles avoiding the package pile driver to roll up into a roll up, but he ends up eating a super kick out of that. Another roll up attempt from Eagles, and then Owens hits Jewel Heist, and then Fale and Chase hit the grenade launcher and pick up the victory. So they're putting over that grenade launcher some more even after this. I figured it was actually going to be the Chaos faction coming out on top, but the heels got some in here right at the end.
Very that I hope Fale wins the KOPW 2020 trophy and snaps it in half and eats the pieces. And by
Yeah.
the time this is all over, I had gotten part of my wish. The action was good. We've spent the whole tour talking about how great most of these guys are. Sho and Robbie and Chase and Ishimori all looked good. And then Fale stomped the trophy, which was wonderful. They were setting up a Yano versus Fale for the trophy in a body slam match. And that has been announced for Cork and Hall, one of the Road to Tokyo Dome shows coming up next week. And the line of the night, Kevin Kelly, referring to the KOPW 2020. Out of all the trophies in New Japan Pro Wrestling, that's one of them.
Yeah. So yeah, the match was fun and all. I thought it was fine, but yeah, him stomping on the trophy afterwards breaks it into pieces. Though I did kind of like what Yano did with it and put a tiny little Yano jacket on the guy on the trophy. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, we'll see how this goes because it sounds like. I mean, there's only a few days left. I mean, we got 2 weeks and we only have some Road 2 shows. There's no big show. So somebody's going to have to take it from him unless they're calling Wrestle Kingdom the end of the year and whoever's holding it after Wrestle Kingdom, that's the winner and then they start the new year.
I think the match with Fale is going to be it though. But yeah, I don't know. If they're I wouldn't even do this shit again. It was a thing to try, and you put it on the guy who could at least make something somewhat entertaining out of it. But I think we've established that this is a fail and we don't need to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope they don't do it again next year, but I guess we will find out in a few weeks what they actually end up doing. But yeah, I'm with you with it. It's kind of a bummer. Yeah. Next up, we had the Empire, Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, and Great Okan. Same thing we had mentioned. We can't wait to see the entire Empire as a team. They were joined by B. Priestley. She actually didn't get involved, did she? Really? I guess a little bit at the end.
Not significantly, really.
Yeah. So the Empire versus Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Toa Henare. Okada and Ospreay stand and trade right off the bell. They both tag out quickly. Then we have Tanahashi beating down on Khan for a little bit and hitting some double team with Henare on Khan as well. Khan gets Tanahashi into a leg crank. He ends up making it to the ropes, and then on the outside, things really break down. Ospreay sends Okada into the barricade. The Empire get the heat on Tanahashi back in the ring. Khan tries the head and arm choke. Tanahashi gets to the ropes. Ospreay aggressively attacks Tanahashi when he has the chance. Gut wrench suplexes from both Khan and Cobb on Tanahashi, and then he fights for a tag. Okada gets in and works with Ospreay. Cobb and Henare square off a little later on. Henare hits a Samoan drop on Cobb for a 2 count. We see the sling blade leg sweep combo. Ospreay has to come in to break that up. And then we have Khan wrapping up Tanahashi with a leg lock, and Cobb hits Tour of the Islands on Henare while everybody is kind of taken out of the match, and they pick up the win there. The big thing, Khan attacks Tanahashi some more after the bell, and then Okada makes the save there. Ospreay and Okada have a stare down in the ring, and then Cobb attacks from behind, and Ospreay hits the Oscutter on Okada. Then B throws in a chair into the ring, and Khan bashes Tanahashi's knee with it over and over. And Khan yells out, "That's the power of the Empire."
Yeah, I was gonna think Dave Meltzer has been really big this year on it. He hates the way Tanahashi's been booked, and I've defended it and explained why I liked it on this show before. But it, I was reflecting that Dave is calling it booking malpractice, and I'm like, I think that's a little too much. And then it comes to pass that Tanahashi has to wrestle the Great Okan at Wrestle Kingdom, and I was like, God damn
it. so it is booking malpractice at this point.
Yeah. Well, Ospreay had new entrance music, worth noting, because he's a heel and a big star now.
Yes.
The one thing is that, I was watching the show live, and I was kind of looking at Twitter, and a few people started raising the possibility of Henare turning on Tanahashi. And I got really uncomfortable because it made too much sense. But it came to nothing because Henare just looked good and got pinned again.
And joining the Empire, that was that part of
it. Yeah. Which, it would have made sense and would have worked, but no, poor Henare is just going to be watching Jeff Cobb and Shingo Takagi wrestle at the Tokyo Dome and be out in the cold.
Yeah, this should be interesting, especially going into next year when it comes to the Empire. I'm assuming something big is going to happen at Wrestle Kingdom. Maybe we will get the supposed higher up in the Empire who's actually pulling the strings, and it's not Will Ospreay at the top. So I'm curious who that might end up being, if we see a turn to that, or if we have the introduction of somebody new altogether into New Japan.
I have had an idea. It was just kind of something in my head. I've mentioned on the podcast before that I think the Evil and Bullet Club thing was kind of a just make work because of the pandemic. That I think the idea was for Evil to do something big, but maybe not to join Bullet Club. So I have had the thought of Evil and Yujiro, and I guess Dick Togo, jumping to the Empire. But
yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah,
that's just me watching and thinking and wondering.
I still don't think we haven't gone through the Bullet Club internal strife enough, though. I think it'd be too early for Evil to do that. So we could see it like in June if it continued out that far, but we still need the breakdown of the Bullet Club because there's still the tension that hasn't actually been resolved yet.
Yeah, I expect that there will be some kind of big angle at New Year Dash that'll further this whole New Japan faction splintering and reforming deal.
All right, we move on to Sanada and Shingo Takagi versus Evil and Yujiro Takahashi. And before this match, I'm like, we just saw this match. Why are we doing it again? Of course, that ends up playing out later of why we saw it again. Evil and Yujiro attack before the bell. Sanada gives Evil a drop kick to the face and an over-the-top rope crossbody to the floor. Shingo and Yujiro fight it out in the ring. Yujiro distracts the ref, and Togo and Evil beat on Sanada on the entranceway. Togo choking Sanada, of course. Shingo comes out, makes a save. Back in the ring, Evil and Yujiro get the heat on Shingo, including removing the turnbuckle pad, sending him into it. Double team work from Evil and Yujiro on Shingo, and then Sanada is still laid out on the entranceway. More Togo interference. Yujiro grabs the walking stick, but Sanada runs in and starts laying down the law on Evil. He throws Evil to the outside and then sends Evil into the barricade a few times. Shingo fires back in the ring on Yujiro with some strikes. Sliding lariat, Last the Dragon, gets a pin. Post-match, we have Evil. Sanada is just gone nuts, and he is just seeing red, beating the crap out of Evil, just punching him in the face. He shoves off. He shoves off and throws out some young lions. Goes right back to beating the crap out of Evil. Shingo has to kind of pull him off of Evil. Evil leaves the ring, and Sanada pushes Shingo aside, goes back to beating on Evil. They throw hands all the way to the back. Shingo is left out there by himself, and as he's getting his hand raised, Jeff Cobb comes out of nowhere and decks Shingo. Oh no, he has a stare down with Shingo, and then Cobb picks up the never openweight title belt, and he starts to hand it towards Shingo, and Shingo goes to grab it, but he can't pull it away from the grip of Cobb. Cobb pulls it into him, and then he picks up Shingo, hits Tour of the Islands, and then he gets down holding the belt, basically shoving it in, grinding it into Shingo's face, and says, "This is mine."
Cobb and Shingo for the BMF Championship Night 2 at the Tokyo Dome. That is going to be phenomenal. I know it's funny. Sanada has not really shown any sign of being greatly upset about Evil's betrayal, and just this to me was Sanada was "Oh shit, it's almost Wrestle Kingdom. I better get mad."
Right?
So I get him mad. Yeah, that was. But yeah, 2020 has been like shitty Groundhog Day, where I have to watch the same damn Evil match over and over and over again. So I was just happy that this was over quickly and painlessly.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Sanada versus Evil is just a beatdown from Sanada. It's super one-sided. That'd be awesome, but I know it's not going to go that way. But one can only hope, right?
Right. And they announced the anniversary show for Budokan on March 4th.
All right. Have they announced much between then and Wrestle Kingdom?
Well, between yeah, they have announced most of January. There's no like to January 30th or 31st. I think they're doing a new beginning. I think in Nagoya,
Okay.
but they haven't announced anything for February yet, which I still think is going to be the Osaka Dome.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we can talk about that after we're done here tonight. Then next up we have Tetsuya Naito and Bushi versus Kota Ibushi and Master Wato. These names are going to sound too similar, so Wato and Naito have a pretty good sequence early on. Wato's actually getting in a good amount of offense on Naito, though Naito did control it for the most part, but Wato got his shots in. Wato lays in a bunch of kicks, gets a tag out to Kota Ibushi, and he continues to work Naito until Bushi gets tagged in. We have a four-way breakdown. Naito sent to the outside. Wato hits his corkscrew dive on Naito on the outside, and in the ring, Ibushi hits the Kamigoye on Bushi and gets the victory. Not really much happened out of this match. I figured there'd be a little bit more interaction between Naito and Ibushi, but
little taste. We'll get more. There will be some tag matches over the road to Tokyo Dome. But Naito and Bushi continuing the tradition of taunting Tenzan by hitting Wato with Mongolian chops. I enjoy that very much for some reason. This is a good, entertaining match. Bushi and Bushi beat the piss out of each other. Master Wato was flying all over the place. Naito was kind of in house show mode, but it's all right. It was fun.
All right, next up, we go to the finals of the World Tag League, and this is Guerrillas of Destiny versus FinJuice, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson. And we actually open up the match with Marty Asami trying to actually be a good ref and enforce some rules. And I wrote down, let's see if this remains through the match. Spoiler, it doesn't. Jado gets caught grabbing Robinson's leg, and the ref tosses him from ringside. And so now we have Jado taken out. But again, the ref is very inconsistent. That we'll find out later on. Lots of back and forth in this match. Fast-paced action. We have a short heat on Finlay, but then FinJuice turns things around, works on Tama Tonga a bit. Tanga Loa comes in, reverses the momentum. Then we have a bunch of double teaming on Juice until Finlay runs in, and basically everybody hits their moves until we have a quadruple down. And we have Juice hitting Cannonball in the corner, a bunch of jabs. I think he actually threw a right hand of God, basically, because the left hand was blocked at one point. Juice is going to hit Pulp Friction, but Jado starts to make his way back down to the ring and distracts the ref. Tongaloa finds a kendo stick on his own and hits both guys of FinJuice. Tamatonga puts on the Scorpion Deathlock on Juice, and Tongaloa puts the crossface on Finlay. Juice fights to the ropes. Magic Killer on Juice after that for a 2 count. And then I wrote down, okay, why is the ref allowing Jado to stay out at ringside after he threw him out earlier?
I wrote Jado was back and it was just fine.
Right.
So I don't know either.
Marty Asami, you suck as a ref. So
yeah,
why didn't you throw him? Why didn't you either DQ the team or keep him, have the Young Lions escort him back out again?
You know who New Japan needs to hire? Aubrey Edwards.
Yes, there we go.
Way down the law.
Anyways, let's see. We have Finlay comes in and he runs wild. He punches Jado off the apron, hits a stunner on Tamatonga, and then this crazy vertical neck breaker thing to Tongaloa looked like it hurt. They hit the Power and Glory finisher. Tamatonga kicks out at 2. And then FinJuice set up for a Doomsday device, but Tongaloa pushes Finlay off the top to the floor. Jado comes in with the kendo stick, but Robinson catches it. But then in came Kenta and hit him in the head with the briefcase, adding a new crack to it. And this cut this cut Juice wide open as well. God come in, they hit the super power bomb and get the 3 count, and God for the first time has won the World Tag League.
Called it. So yeah, I love the way they did the finish, but it would have worked so much better if Jado had not come back. If that would have been such a better story. Jado's gone. What are God gonna do? There's no master heater, and then Kenta comes in with the shitty red briefcase and helps them win.
Right?
Why? Why do we have to have so much interference? Just like some interference is fine. We'll talk about it. Like the heel bullshit that we'll talk about that went so much better on the Super J-Cup show. It's just so frustrating that this shit sucks and everybody knows it. Why? Just why?
Right. And
anyway,
and we've talked about it before. It should be of concern of the person whose behalf is being interfered on, because it's making them look super, super weak. Like, I know heels are supposed to look a little bit weak at times by using this type of interference, but it makes them look like they shouldn't even be in the ring to begin with, let alone at the position that they are. When you have so much interference on Evil's part, it just made him completely weaker than he needed to be. And then same here, God, it makes him look totally weak once again when they constantly have to use Jado, even though that most of their matches they are heavily dominant. So like, why are they even needing to get that little extra from Jado when they could win it on their own? It kind of like, it's a huge clash of everything that's happening, and it is just, I don't know how you reconcile the two polar opposite feelings of what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating, but it's still like they're having such great matches that you can't deny they're great matches. This was like the best babyface team against the best heel team. The match was awesome, but it's so frustrating that it's always that same shit. There was a moment that Juice hit one of the gorillas with the left-handed god and then just collapsed, and they both laid there exhausted, and as they were laying there, the announcer did the 15-minute call. Oh, that was like just an epic moment. I loved it.
Yeah, I remember that spot mostly because technically Tongaloa was pinning Juice when they fell down, because Juice fell on his back and Tongaloa fell down and his arm was draped across the top of Juice and the ref didn't count. And then I noted then Tongaloa rolled away, but he technically landed in a pin.
Juice kicked out of the Magic Killer, and then Jado called for the Super Bomb, so they went for it, and then Juice turned it into that freaking Frankensteiner that was awesome. Finley made an awesome comeback. They hit the Heart Attack for a near fall. They hit the Powerplex. And when Tonga kicked out of the Powerplex, oh my god. And that was the point, okay, they're winning. I was certain of it at that point. And, yeah. I wrote here, Finn Juice went for Doomsday Device, Jado in, stuff happened, Kenta out of nowhere with the shitty red briefcase. And then God, as you said, won with the Super Bomb. So I guess we're setting up Kenta versus Juice for the briefcase, which really, really should be an interim championship at this point.
Right.
Just anyway, Kenta versus Juice is a good match.
Yes. Have we seen that match yet?
I do not believe, not unless they were in the G1 together last year.
I think they were in.
They weren't. They were not. They
blocks.
were in separate blocks. I remember. Yeah.
All right, so we move on to the final match of the evening, and
boy, do we!
The finals of the Best of the Super Juniors. I wrote an entire page just on this match, so I'm gonna try to sum it up in some spots. So we have the first thing I noticed: Desperado dressed mostly in white.
I wrote Desperado in white gear was my first line.
All right.
Everybody knows. Wear white in the big match.
We start off with a little bit of mat wrestling. They chop each other, and then we have basically what starts to happen is Hiromu starts to have a problem with his knee. Desperado starts beating the crap out of his knee, so that really slows down Hiromu. Hiromu constantly is having issues when he tries to pick up Desperado, it buckles underneath him. There was one point Hiromu, his knee gave out, but he just hit this insane super kick that if Desperado wasn't as strong as he was, his head would have been in the third row because he just laid that one in there. Hiromu hits a buckle driver, then a Death Valley driver, and then he tries for Time Bomb 2, but Desperado reverses it, puts on numero dos, and Hiromu has to get to the ropes. At one point, we have Desperado actually removed one of the turnbuckle pads, which comes into play later. Hiromu hits a sunset bomb, or goes for a sunset bomb. He flies to the outside, but he crashes and burns, and he like totally missed Desperado. Like he did not get a grip on him. He just crashed to the floor, and Desperado basically gave him a mule kick, sending him into the barricade. And then he grabs one of the junior tag title belts, and then Red Shoes takes it away from him or tries to take it away. Desperado throws it into the ring, so this causes Red Shoes to turn his back, and Desperado grabs a chair and hits Hiromu's knee with it a few times. Back in the ring, Desperado hits the Katara on Day on Hell for a very close 2 count, puts on the numero dos right at the 20-minute call. Desperado locks up one of the arms. Desperado even rolls back into the center of the ring, locks up both arms, and then, craziest thing I've ever seen, Desperado starts to pick up Hiromu to try to increase the pressure, but Hiromu powers up and hits a destroyer out of this. This was the most amazing thing I have ever seen.
Oh my god, I give up ever trying to understand physics or anything. Holy shit, like that was the damnedest thing I'd ever seen. He turned a stretch muffler into a destroyer. That makes no sense, but it was beautiful.
It was awesome. Desperado pushes Hiromu into the ref, gives Hiromu a low blow. Desperado was about to give Hiromu the closed fist, but Hiromu got literally first to the punch and dropped Desperado, and Hiromu starts to tear Desperado's mask apart. He stands up and he's staring at him with half of the mask ripped off. Hiromu blocks they stare at each other, and Desperado finishes taking the mask off himself. So he has been unmasked, and they go and beat the shit out of each other. Hiromu blocks a Pinche Loco, drops Desperado with a headbutt. Then we have the vertical face buster from Hiromu. Hiromu avoids another Pinche Loco, gives Desperado a buckle driver into the exposed turnbuckle, and then I believe he hit Time Bomb 2 this first time. Okay, for 1, 2, kick out. Desperado kicked out of Time Bomb 2, and then we actually see that Desperado is bleeding from the back. He's bleeding from the mouth. Hiromu picks up Desperado, gives him another vertical facebuster, hits a Time Bomb, then gets the pin.
Man, so, but they were contemporaries at the dojo, opening match rivals as young lions. Desperado's a little bit senior, so went on excursion first, came back first, but of course, Hiromu came back and just lit the world on fire. And it's been, kind of the thing that it's pretty traditional for when these young lions go on excursion to Mexico that they'll wear a mask, but they'll lose their mask before they go back to Japan. And Desperado did when he was Namahagwe. He lost his mask in Mexico, and then he came back to Japan doing an entirely different character, which is fine. But the thing has been Hiromu saying, I know who you are. Why are you hiding your face? So they're having this match that's just so freaking insane, and you've already described it. And then they get to the point that Desperado was about to land that outlaw right hand, and Hiromu threw one of his own and just knocked Desperado's dick in the dirt. Then he went for the mask, and then Desperado stood up and took off the rest of the mask, and there is former New Japan young lion Kyosuke Mikami, who went on excursion to Mexico and got possessed by a demon and was never seen again. And now it is two former dojo classmates beating the shit out of each other in the main event of Budokan Hall in the best of the Super Junior final. Desperado got that side cradle he does, the LS Claro, for an incredible false finish. I don't know who screamed louder, me or Chris Charlton. This really felt like a legendary match in the history of New Japan Pro Wrestling. The former dojo classmates, the Mexican connection, the mask, all of it. Just this match was amazing.
Yeah, then we have, after the match was kind of interesting here, post-match, they actually threw a t-shirt over Desperado's head, and Desperado decided to throw the t-shirt away that was covering his face. I wrote here, I really hope that he's no longer going to be a masked wrestler.
Yosuke Mikami, you do not need to hide your face from anyone, sir. You are a true strong style outlaw.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I was looking or looking at, and I just went down the list of everybody who has been the junior champion and the heavyweight champion, and out of all the guys who have been, there's like two that were under masks. Like everyone else were not under masks, so it's like it does give you a little bit of a hamstringing of how far you can get, because you don't have sometimes you can't get those expressions across and all that stuff. So I thought it was interesting looking down the list that there are very few masked wrestlers who have ever held the title.
I think there's probably a handful who won the junior heavyweight title. Let's see. Chris Benoit, Jushin Liger, Ultimo Dragon, Great Sasuke, Kendo Kashin. I'm up to 5.
Oh, really?
Anyway, Tiger Mask, Black Tiger, Heat, Mystico.
I must have been looking at the heavyweight championship then.
Yeah, because I think I got 9. And the 10, Bushi.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. But and Desperado has never been the junior heavyweight champion, and I kind of feel like that's a shame now.
Yeah, well, I think how everything happened here, I think that is going to be changing in the next year or two, and he is going to be moving up, and it definitely being, prime position in the division. Also, after the match, Hiromu grabbed the mic and he said, Desperado and he have plenty more to come, and they will not stop until they retire. I won this time. I will see you again. And Hiromu says he's got something. He still has a little something to do. There's somebody he wants to fight before he faces Ishimori. He wants to face the winner of the Super J Cup first. So that timeline wise is going to happen in 12 hours from or when this happened, but in real life it had already happened a long time ago. But they actually both cut the same promo, just at the other one without using the person's name, which I thought was pretty funny.
Did he not say Hiromu? I thought the Super Jacob winner said Hiromu. Did he not?
He did not. He said the winner of Best of the Super Juniors.
Okay, but yeah, so I think Desperado's probably going to win this thing next year. I think because Gato does that a lot, that the guy almost gets it the 1 year, comes so close. It's almost like a trope of his booking that the guy comes back and redeems himself. And I could absolutely see next year, and hopefully they'll get to do the tournament in May and June like normal.
Right.
I think I could totally see this being the final again, with the result going the other way. Or it's probably more likely though that Hiromu will win the title back, but he won't make the finals, and then Desperado will win the tournament, and then they'll do the title match at Dominion.
Then we move on to the Super J Cup. This was December 12th, 2020, taking place in Los Angeles, California, taped many months ago at this point, but as far as kayfabe timeline goes, it was on the 12th. And we have the 8-man tournament all taking place in the one night. So the guys we have in the tournament are Chris Bay, Clark Connors, ACH, TJP, Ray Horace, Blake Christian, Leo Rush, and El Phantasmo. So pretty decent lineup, I thought.
Yeah, man. Chris Bay, I've only seen him a few times, but you only got to see him once or twice to see that he's really stinking good. And actually, like, it was watching Impact last week to see what the deal with the Omega interview was. I just saw Chris Bay in a tag match, and holy shit, he's good. And he was holy shitting good here too.
Yeah, so we start off the night with Chris Bay versus the young lion Clark Connors. I'm guessing he's not going to be a young lion for too much longer, I wouldn't think. He's been in the system for probably, a year and a half, 2 years now?
I think so, and I got a little bit cross about some of this during this show. And he's so good, and it's frustrating that like I think he's more ready than Uemura. He's more ready than Tsuji or Gabriel Kidd. I think he might be a better wrestler than Carl Fredericks, who has already graduated.
Yeah, the show I went to opener was Carl Fredericks and Clark Connor, and they had a banger of a match finish. The whole crowd was on their feet when he put on the Boston Crab and then started going into the Lion Tamer, and everybody's like, oh, and then he tapped out. They start off, so Chris Bay and Clark Connors, they start off with some grappling strikes and chops from both guys. I actually really like the spot here where Connors went down for the drop down trip and Bay just double stomped him in the back coming off the ropes instead of leaping over him. I thought that was awesome. I love when somebody actually does offense to the guy who purposely put himself on the ground. I don't know why this doesn't happen more often. Like somebody just stops and then kicks him in the ribs or something. Bay lays in some stiff kicks. Connor tells him to bring it on. Rolling reverse neck breaker from Bay. Connor gives Bay a running shoulder block that sends him flying like halfway across the ring. Bay hits a power bomb. Connors weakly gets the shoulder up, the one that wasn't pinned down by a foot. And Connor tries to get the Boston Crab on. Bay turns out of it. He hits a hip attack, and I don't know why Alex Kozlov called it a heel kick. No idea why. He hits the Art of Finesse, which is the Os Cutter / Cody Cutter, and he gets the victory. I thought this was a pretty good match. All these matches actually kind of came in at about the same time, about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and they were all good. This match, this was the one that bothered me in particular, and I'll talk about where the other ones went better. But this is from, the building where they take New Japan Strong. It's still an empty building. And, okay, the matches that work in this environment are the ones that are like simulated fights, which is why New Japan Strong usually works. But this was a more high-flying match that was meant to make people pop, and there ain't no pop.
Yeah.
So, Clark Connors has this amazing fire, but there's nobody to react to him. Anyway, this felt like a very good dress rehearsal.
Yeah, this was the only match that it felt weird taking place in the no-fan environment. I noticed it so much, and then as the show went on, I would forget that they're just taping in basically an empty building.
Well, I have an idea as to why that we'll get when we get there.
Probably because the matches were even better.
Well, that too, but when we get to the El Phantasmo matches, he was so much better, and a few other guys too were so much better at just making noise or just producing sound in a way that distracted you from the fact that filled in the quiet, filled in the empty space.
Yeah. So we go on to ACH versus TJP and the battle of the initials. They start rolling. TJP sends ACH to the outside and hits this nice wrecking ball drop kick to the outside. One of the moves that he does a lot of very cool moves, and this is one of my favorite ones, that wrecking ball drop kick that he does. Lots of innovative attacks from TJP, working over all different parts of the body, but mostly focusing on the arm and upper neck and back. TJP hits a springboard diving DDT that just looked amazing. ACH hit a rolling forearm, then this huge deadlift, almost like a wheelbarrow Alabama slam type of deal. He just like slung him over like he was nothing. Then the two of exchange strikes, then some roll up attempts. They fight up to the top. ACH gets TJP on his back and hits a super gut buster, and then hits a 450 splash, and ACH gets the win. I wrote, really nice match. After the match, ACH and TJP shake hands and hug, and respect all around there.
Yeah, I've always really liked TJP as a wrestler, so it's annoying that when I watch him now, I have to remember, oh yeah, he posted a lot of really dumb anti-mask tweets during this pandemic. I also don't know why his only takeaway from his WWE run was, I should cover my upper body in shitty tattoos. Anyway.
When really I didn't even notice when he got those tattoos, because wasn't he usually wrestling in a long sleeve? No, he wasn't.
No, he didn't get the tattoos until after the WWE run. I've seen him in New Japan and like around, and the tattoos have come along. ACH is fantastic, and I really hope that when this pandemic is over, we get more of him in Japan. He'd be awesome in like Best of the Super Junior. Imagine like the Power Junior battle that ACH versus Show would be.
I believe this is actually the first match I've seen with ACH.
Really?
I think so.
But he's really good. He's worth seeing. He delivers a lot.
Yeah, from what I saw, it looked really good. So looking forward to some more. Next up, we have Ray Horse versus Blake Christian. First round here. Nice mat work, grappling to start off. We have mirror arm drags, and then a mirrored spot of them both going for the arm drag at the same time. Some really cool moves from Blake off of his back. He did an up kick and then a head takeover. Blake hits a Barani flip dive to the outside. That's a flip with a half twist. Horse hits a flip dive at a really weird angle, kind of over the ring post, kind of off to the side of the ring post, but it was not perpendicular to the ropes or the ring post. It was just kind of at a weird angle. It looks like he crashed, and Blake did not catch him very much on that. It looked like he smacked the floor pretty good there. Back in the ring, Blake gets kicked right in the face while he's in a sitting position, and this basically busts him open, breaks his nose from what we could tell. Blake comes back with a Death Valley driver, thrust kick, shooting star press for a 2 count. Blake is bleeding like crazy at this point. They have a striking exchange, and God, that would have had to suck with the broken nose, getting hit and jostling your head. Oh God, I can feel it right now from like, I've had chronic sinus infections, I've had sinus surgery, so like I could just imagine getting hit after a sinus surgery that would hurt. Be having a broken nose, that would suck even more. Lots of strikes back and forth. Horse gives Blake a overhead throw into the corner. Horse puts on a reverse figure 4. Blake gets to the ropes, and then they go up to the top. Horse hits a code red off the top for a 2 count. Back to the top they go. Blake hits the dirtiest Spanish fly I have ever seen. Blake did not rotate nearly enough. Lands like right on his head. Goes for the cover for the 2 count. Back up to the top once again. Blake hits a frog splash and gets the win. So he has a cracked nose, and he's moving on to the next round.
Yeah, so this was the other match where the lack of the crowd really got to me, and it was because really early on they did the Japanese standoff spot, which has always been one of my favorite spots in wrestling, and there was no crowd to applaud, and it just made me so sad.
I know. I'm thinking back. The first time I saw that spot was Tajiri versus Super Crazy in ECW.
Yeah, and I think that I probably first saw it when I started watching like Liger and Kanemoto and those guys in the early 2000s, and it just I've seen it called that somewhere, and I've just always called it the Japanese standoff spot. I don't know a better name for it, but yeah, I love that spot. It just but the dive over the ring post to the floor, like that, just is always widely impressive to me. Ray Horus is a really awesome flying wrestler.
Again, first time I've seen either of these guys.
Really? Oh, yeah. I have seen Blake Christian has been a regular on New Japan Strong, and I've seen a fair bit of Ray Horus over the years, but it's been kind of a little while. But he's still great.
We go on to Lio Rush versus El Phantasmo. ELP is the greatest heel. He is just such a douche. He has new entrance music, but he didn't license it to New Japan, so they couldn't play it. So he's holding them up for money. So that basically his entrance is they kill all the sound and they put up can't play something along the music unlicensed or muted because of licensing issues. And then when Kevin Kelly came back, he said, yeah, they didn't play it in here either. So normally, they do that. They mute the music sometimes because they're using copyrighted music in Japan. In this case, they even talked about it on commentary. Yeah, he didn't play it in here. He just gets a silent entrance, which I thought was funny, holding him up for money. ELP...
The gimmick was funny, but did you notice they kind of almost ruined it because after he won, they played his old music, which I love that music and it was cool, but it was like, why are you ruining the gimmick?
ELP, when he gets introduced, he goes up the top, he does a flip off the top, and he falls down. This actually ends up being a story throughout this match that he has not wrestled since February, and he keeps kind of messing up spots. I'm guessing it was part of the gimmick because some of these falls were a little too orchestrated. Yeah, and Lio Rush was on top of it in 2 seconds, making fun of him for doing stuff. ELP failed to do a kip up, so Lio Rush had to show him how to do one, which was funny. Rush shows off his speed. Really, they both do really high speed moves here. ELP keeps messing up the moves, and then he starts going for some small joint manipulation of Lio Rush, snapping the finger. ELP hits a Styles Clash on the floor. Rush has to answer a 20 count. ELP hangs Rush in the Tree of Woe and stands on his balls. I wrote this right away. I'm not sure why this isn't a DQ, and it's already old, even though I haven't seen it in almost a year. This spot just annoyed the hell out of me when he and Ishimori did it in the Junior Tag League last year, and it's already annoying already. Rush hits an awesome Poison Rana and then a nice Tope Suicida. Then a moonsault to the floor off the second. Was that the one off the second turnbuckle? I can't remember if you did that one. ELP tries for a low blow, but Rush moves out of the way. Rush hits a Falcon Arrow for 2. ELP catches Rush on his shoulders, hits a UFO, but is slow to cover, so Rush kicks out. Rush avoids the CR2 and hits a cool little springboard cutter. He kind of bounced off the bottom rope with his butt. Did you see this? Did you notice this cutter?
I think so. I didn't.
It was really cool.
I've seen that enough, but I just didn't really think anything of it.
It was kind of cool. He kind of went through the bottom and the second rope, landed on his butt on the second, giving him enough spring to still get the cutter. It was kind of like a little tight cutter right there. It was cool. It was pretty cool. Rush goes up for a frog splash, but ELP gets the knees up and then hits a up kick, sending Rush into the ref. ELP pokes Rush in the eyes, punches him in the dick, and then rolls him up for the victory. So the dick kick, or the dick punch in this case, from ELP, picking up the win in his always heelish tactics here.
Yeah, man. How much of an indictment of the WWE system is it that they had Lio Rush and they did nothing with him?
Right?
He's amazing in the ring. He has amazing in-ring charisma. He can talk. It's just that whole, it's so frustrating that is where amazing talent goes to not do anything. So yeah, man, I was glad that Leo Rush has made his way into this tournament. This match ruled. Uh, I wrote, of course, Phantasmo is in Bullet Club, so the finish involved a ref bump, an eye gouge, a low blow, and a handful of tights. But at least there was no Dick Togo.
Yeah, exactly. There was a dick punch, but no Dick Togo. Next up, we have just kind of a filler match here. Rocky Romero and Fred Rosser versus Danny Limelight and JR Kratos. Limelight and Kratos take a bunch of this match early. Limelight gets on a rear naked choke on Rocky. Kratos tries to stop Rosser from getting into the ring. Rosser ends up biting him in the head and breaking up the hold. They continue to get the heat on Rocky. Rocky finally catches a kick, gets a tag to Rosser, and then Rosser comes in, takes out Limelight, hits a sidewalk slam on Kratos on the apron, and then Rosser works over Kratos a bit, still works on Kratos gets a tag out, and still Rosser works over Limelight, even though he got the tag. Rocky gets a tag in, continues to work over Limelight, but then we get some double teaming from Kratos and Limelight, and Kratos hits a running power slam, and then this massive deadlift German suplex, and Limelight runs in, snags the pin on Rocky for the victory. I thought this was fine. There obviously is an issue between Rocky and Danny Limelight.
Yeah, so this match was not filler if you watch New Japan Strong. This is a part of a couple of different ongoing storylines. Rocky Romero tried to mentor Danny Limelight, but it was about 3 weeks ago on New Japan Strong that Limelight turned on him to join Team Filthy, of which JR Kratos is also a member. Team Filthy on New Japan Strong is Tom Lawler, JR Kratos. Oh fuck, who's the other guy? Russ Taylor, who's signed with WWE now. So
right.
Anyway. One of the major revelations of New Japan Strong has been, holy shit, Fred Rosser is good now. I'd really, really love to see what he does, how good he would get with a couple of Japan tours when the pandemic was over. It's just like, man, the Darren Young from WWE is like a really good pro wrestler now. JR Kratos is just a big, gigantic motherfucker. Like, I wish he would have been in Japan 20 to 30 years ago, because he would have been an amazing Gaijin heel. I hope they could do some shit with him in Japan if they wanted to. They got the heat on Rocky, and I was digging this match, and then it struck me, these are the kind of teams that we need never openweight tag titles for. Rocky Romero and Fred Rosser as tag team champions, hell yeah, I would take that.
Right, and then it'd be fun, having Kratos. Obviously, he is 300 pounds. Is 301 pounds to be exact. Obviously, he can't tag with some of the smaller guys, but yeah, I thought it was a fun match.
Yeah, man. Danny Limelight, and he couldn't pin Rocky on his own, and he lost to Rocky when they had their singles match a while back. But now he was able to pin Rocky after the Big Killer gave Rocky his move. So either this week or next week on New Japan Strong, we are getting the rematch: Rocky Romero and Danny Limelight 2.
All right. Next, we go to round 2, and we have ACH versus Chris Bay. Bay takes control early, but then ACH comes back after sending Bay to the outside, hits a crossbody over the top rope to the floor. A little bit of offense until Bay comes back and hits a code red in the middle of the ring. But every time ACA tries to make a comeback, Bay kind of turns it around pretty quickly until ACH finally gets a little bit of momentum, hits a brainbuster, hits a 450 splash, and gets the pin, and he moves on to the final. Not a lot to say about this match. A good little tight match. Nothing really stood out, but nothing came crashing down either.
This ruled. This was like an awesome 8-minute match. I really want to see a rematch with more time. But for the time it lasted, this was awesome.
Then we have Blake Christian coming out with the broken nose. What a trooper. This would not be fun. Versus El Phantasmo. ELP offers a handshake. Blake waves it off. The bell rings, and as soon as it does, Blake flies out of the corner, hits a shotgun dropkick, basement dropkick, goes to town on ELP until ELP uses the broken nose to his advantage and starts grabbing his nose. I wrote, this is going to be interesting going forward. Blake does a somersault senton to the floor off the second turnbuckle. Then we have another dive to the outside. Blake looked like he was going to put on a submission, but ELP grabs the nose once again. ELP rakes the back a few times. Blake reverses a CR2 into a roll-up for a 2 count. Blake hits a Death Valley driver and then a standing moonsault. Comes up a little short on the rotation and smacks his face right into ELP's chest. That did not tickle. Blake struggles to get to the top rope. He misses whatever he was going for. I don't have no idea what he was thinking there. ELP super kicks him right in the face, gets the pin. So ELP moves on to the finals, and he's going to face ACH in the end.
Yeah, man. Blake Christian knew his only chance of winning was to catch him quick, and he tried, but he couldn't. The ref chided ELP for going after the injured nose, and ELP just goes, "Did you think I wasn't going to touch his nose?"
Right?
And he basically worked the guy's nose the whole match. Dude, ELP is so great. Like, as a wrestler, he kind of puts me in mind of like a young Chris Benoit, except that he has 100 times the charisma.
Right.
And then I wrote Christian did a standing shooting star press and landed on his nose. I bet that sucked. And then he went up top, and ELP invites him to dive on him, and Blake does, and ELP moves, and Blake crashes and burns, which was dumb of Blake Christian, but I guess some bad decision-making is understandable given the circumstances.
Right. Next up, we have Kenta and Hikuleo versus Kevin Knight, a new young lion over in the LA dojo, and Ren Narita, who is on excursion. Though, is Ren Narita's final stop the US? I'm guessing not, but we will see.
I don't know. He was still in young lion garb here, and I was wondering, like, if you just shit kind of got shut down and you haven't been able to get like real gear because you're not really working anywhere. It's got to suck for him because he's effectively missed at, you know, most of a year of his excursion, which is a real shame.
Yeah, because he actually left. So he actually came to the United States when I saw him. He was in the other Young Lion match when I saw him, and he came to the United States probably, the last week of September last year. So he's here in October when I saw him. And they were like, yeah, he's about to go on his excursion. He was just touring with New Japan still. And yeah, I don't know what type of excursion he's having right now, if any. It's just like he's working out in the LA dojo instead of the Japan dojo.
They said he's based out of the LA dojo, which, you know, makes sense because, you know, he can work, if there was wrestling happening, he could work, you know, in the West Coast Indies, he could work in Mexico, but I don't guess he's doing much right now, which sucks.
Kenta's briefcase looks brand new. I'm guessing it's actually a completely different briefcase than the one in Japan. They just have one over here and one over there. They said on commentary it was new.
They did say that, but this was taped before the G1.
Oh, really? It was that long ago?
That's the same briefcase, just before Kenta broke it on Hiroshi Tanahashi's face.
And Juice Robinson's face.
And a lot of faces.
Ren Narita and Kenta throw hands right off the bat. Hard kicks from Kenta. We have a bit of craziness where Kenta runs Ren Narita into the ring post on the outside, gives him a body slam on the floor, and this is while Hikuleo is working on Knight in the ring. Works over Knight for quite some time. Narita gets a tag in, but Hikuleo still works him over as well. Kenta gets a tag in, and Narita gets beaten down by Kenta, eats a back fist. Knight gets tagged in and shoulder tackles Kenta, hits a hard drop kick to the face. Like, it was complete face. Kenta buries a knee into the stomach, hits a bunch of kicks, and then Kenta catches a drop kick, puts on a Boston Crab. Ren Narita comes in to break up the hole, but Hikuleo comes in, gives Narita a choke slam. Kenta goes back to the Boston Crab and submits Knight with the Boston Crab. Welcome to the dojo, Mr. Knight.
Yeah, but if you did, Hikuleo is the taller, greener brother of the Gorillas of Destiny.
Yeah.
Poor Kevin Knight, they whooped his ass, which was kind of fun.
You notice he didn't have black trunks either?
Did he not? I thought
he had like the darkest of dark brown trunks, but they were not black. It might just be they didn't have any black gear for him or something. I don't know.
They might be. But so Narita got the hot tag, but like couldn't get anything going against Hikuleo, which was And then Kenta tagged in, and we got a hot little exchange between Kenta and Narita, and then Knight tagged himself back in, and he actually had a pretty hot exchange with Kenta, and then Kenta just beat him with the Young Lion Crab hold. And this was a nice little match, but I didn't get enough of what, like, he's got little teases of things I really like, but not, much of it.
Kevin Knight might need to change his name because I just Googled him and there's already a wrestler named Kevin Knight. He's an American wrestler and he actually has done some work in WWE. He won the Commissioner Cup Tag Tournament with Darren Young in 2004 for IWF.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I've never freaking heard of this guy before, which must be if you are a professional wrestler in the United States and I have never heard of you, that's
yeah, I'm looking at this. He has been ranked annually since 1998 in PWI's top 500. He's wrestled Backlund, Tito Santana, Honky Tonk Man, Beefcake, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, JBL, Iron Sheik, Tom Pritchard, Chris Candido, whole bunch of people.
You're also reading the pro wrestling wiki, aren't you?
I am. So yeah, he might need to change his name on this one because I found the wrong person. Anyways, we move on to the final match of the evening: El Phantasmo versus ACH for the Super J Cup trophy and jacket. And well, something happens to said trophy. ELP attacks ACH as ACH is coming out. He is the first one. ACH was the first one to come out, so he attacks him just as soon as he leaves the curtain, basically.
As soon as he clears he's still like in the doorway.
ELP then clears off the timekeeper's table, but he ends up grabbing the trophy and smashes that over ACH's back, and Chekhov's table never came into play. He set the table up like somebody was going through it. Nobody ever actually went through the table. ACH eventually gets in the ring. The ref asks if he still wants to fight. ACH says, "Ring the fucking bell."
Yes. Love that line, man. The Sandman, guilty as charged, 2001.
ACH tries a roll-up. He is running around even though he has tape all over his lower back. Hits a Rana and a drop kick. Then ELP slams ACH on the apron, runs it into the edge of the ring a few times, makes ACH answer a 20 count. ELP then tears off the tape on the back. There's 3 pieces of tape. He tears one off. He chokes him with it. And when the ref takes it away, he tears off the next piece, chokes him with it. Ref takes it away, tears off the last piece off of his back, chokes him with it. Then ELP puts him, or rakes the back, and then puts ACH in the Tree of Woe. Sliding drop kick to the face, then the standing on the balls. Again, how is this not a DQ? ELP, then they fight to the outside, suplexes ACH onto the entrance ramp staging, which is basically plastic, or kind of a plexiglass mix of, on top of some lighting and some, like, diamond plate on the sides as well, but he landed on the plexi part. ELP gets knocked to the floor. ACH hits a running penalty kick while he's running across the apron, kicking ELP, who is standing on the floor. Slingshot cutter from ACH for a 2 count. Close 2 count on a snap suplex as well. ELP hits a top rope Rana and then a splash for a 2 count, and then ELP hits a Styles Clash in the middle for a 2 count. ELP then goes for a one-winged angel, but ACH fights out of it, hits a brainbuster for a 2 count. ACH goes up top, but ELP knocks him down, crotches him on the top. He follows him up, and then ACH gets ELP up on his shoulders and hits the super gut buster, goes for the 450 splash, but ELP gets his knees up, and then El Phantasmo kicks ACH into the ref and punches ACH in the balls, rolls him up. ACH kicks out, so ELP then hits a super kick, pulls ACH back up to his feet, hits the CR2, and gets the victory. So ELP back-to-back Super J Cup winner as he's getting presented the trophy. That's half broken already. He smashes the rest of it over his knee. He wants the jacket and keeps pulling stuffing out of the arms to make it look good while they're displaying it. And he keeps getting mad at it. And he tries to put it on, realizes there's more pieces, takes it off, takes them out, tried to put it back on. There's still stuff in the arms, so he just throws it on the ground, spits on it. He calls out the winner of the Best of the Super Juniors. And I actually wrote down Hiromu did not use Hiromu's name since this was taped long ago. But then he does pick up the jacket, gets the last little piece out of the arm and puts it on. And that is how they wrap it up. So ELP versus Hiromu, first night of the Tokyo Dome. Hopefully either one of them can make it to Taiji Ishimori the next night. And it would be very interesting since El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori are tag partners.
Yeah, and I'm quite certain that Hiromu's going to win both of those matches just based on everything. I mean, he didn't use the name, but just the fact that, like, I'm just amazed that they did this all these months ago. Like, they already had that direction, that they didn't have to say who, but it was like, yeah, we're going to do the Super J Cup winner against the Best of the Super Junior winner night one of the Tokyo Dome. So I liked the post-match jump, and I love ELP's heel work, but the announcers, again, with my pet peeve, the you can't disqualify the guy for assaulting his opponent before the bell. It's dumb, and I hate it, and it would bother me less if they would just not draw attention to it.
Yes.
But anyway, that ELP hit the Styles Clash for 2 and, went for the 1 Weekend Angel. ACH counter hit that Brainbuster. That was a 2.9. And then the low blow and the Schoolboy, man, that was like a 2.99. Oh, that was a great near fall. And yeah, then Super Kick and CR2. This was a fucking great match. ELP is just such a magnificent prick.
Yeah. Yes, he definitely is. All right, so let's talk a little bit here how they are setting things up, because I'm not sure if we're going to be doing much after this show. We have some Road 2 matches. I don't know if there's any... actually, we have Detonation on Friday, and there is actually a match between Brody King and Kenta for the right to challenge contract.
Brody King pinned Kenta in an elimination tag match a couple of weeks ago to set that up.
So that's actually happening on Friday, so we might need to talk about that. And then we have the Road 2 shows, and I'll just kind of zip through them real quick to see if there's any title matches or anything we need to know.
The only title match is Toru Yano and Bad Luck Fale for the KOPW 2020.
And what night is that happening on?
That is the last night, December 23rd.
December 23rd. Okay.
And yeah, I don't even think that there's going to be English commentary for these. It doesn't. I think that Kevin Kelly will probably still be in quarantine when they do these shows.
Yeah.